Hello everyone, welcome back to KXAN Live. Happy Monday. I'm Esmeralda Zamora and today we have our first warning weather Q&A with Mr. Rich Segal. Rich, how are you doing this morning?
It's a Monday. The air is nice and dry. The sky is blue. It's a really perfect day. I just wish we could get a little rain here.
Yes, I think that's the only thing missing in the forecast.
Yes.
This morning I woke up and it was a little breezy. I was like, wow, it really does feel like fall now.
Yes.
So let's go ahead.
But we still have those summertime temperatures in the afternoon. I wish we were stuck in the 80s, but now by the time we get to the afternoon, we're still in the low to mid 90s.
Yeah, but at least it's not 100-degree weather.
Yeah, that's true too. Good way to look at it.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into your first topic of the day, and that is you talk a lot about the drought monitor. Is it more than the rainfall that makes up the drought monitor?
Yes, and so we just showed you the monitor, and there are several factors that go into making up the drought monitor. It isn't just all about the rain, although precipitation totals plays a major role, but they also look at available soil moisture, water that has settled into the ground from recent rains, which we are slowly depleting because we haven't had much rain in September. We've only had 2 days worth of rain. So how much soil moisture is in the ground? We also take a look at the levels of the lakes and some of the area streams. And so in specific, we're looking at the lake levels of both Travis and Buchanan. We're seeing Travis on another fall. Buchanan has come up a little bit since Friday, but overall, they're both in desperate need or dire need of more water. They talk with several people around the state about present forecast trends. What's been happening, what is going on now, and what is happening. And there are a few other factors as well, but these are some of the main ones. There are 3 agencies that make this up, and each one takes a different week. The number one thing that people should remember is the drought monitor affects all of us. It just does not affect single entities like the farming community or the ranching community, the agriculture community. This affects all of us in one way or another, and so this is why we show it every Thursday. For those that don't know, the drought monitor is calculated on a Tuesday to Tuesday basis, and then once they get everything organized and come up with their report, they issue it to us on Thursday, and we usually get it at around 8 o'clock. So those are some of the factors that go into making up the drought monitor here, not only in Central Texas, but across the country as well.
Wow, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't know that it took all of this to make up that drought monitor.
Yes.
And probably thought it just had to do with rain, right?
Right. Although, again, rain does play the biggest role. Okay, now I'm going to flip to the second question. How are normal temperatures determined and why are they so important? So normal temperatures, the normal for the day today, for example, our normal high is 88 and our normal low, I believe, is 67. These numbers are calculated on a 30-year basis. So let me switch to my graphic. There we go. One more hit here and... Okay, you may have to pull up yours. Hang on just a second. Let me try one more time. Technology gets me a little too much.
It's too early for technology right now.
The graphic is on. Let's just make sure that the graphic is turned on. Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up this way.
There we go. Yay.
There we go. So what's normal? Okay, so the numbers are taken from all of the highs and the lows over a 30-year period. So this year's normals, the normals that started in 2021 and last until 2030, were taken from data from 1990 to 2020. It is a baseline for heat and for cold. And I think in particular, more than any other group, the farmers and the ranchers need this as that baseline. Okay, this is what we should be experiencing. We're supposed to be in the upper 80s, but right now we're in the mid 90s. I use this daily. There are some meteorologists across the country that don't use the normals in what they call an almanac because they think it's just a throwaway graphic. But I am very aware of the fact that people do need to know this. And so that's why I don't consider it to be a throwaway graphic. So this is how they're determining normal. So this normal of 88 for today determined over a 30-year period that goes back to 1990 and ended in 2020. And so the next set of numbers will take into account 2020, will take into effect 2000 to 2030.
Wow. So there's more to it than just what we see from the outside.
Yes, there's an organization within the NOAA family that monitors this, and again, we'll get those new numbers. And when they do, by the way, I fear that normal temperatures for late July and especially early to mid-August, which now are the hottest time of the year at 99 degrees, as that number continues to increase, I think we may be looking at some normal, quote, normal high temperatures for late July and early August into 100, into the triple digits.
And then your third question was, when will the ragweed go away?
And that's what I want to know, too. This is one of those dreaded ragweed plants. This is the allergy that I suffer from more than any other. Ragweed bloomed a little earlier this year, too. It normally doesn't happen until the fall season, but it started blooming in the summer. It's continuing a trend that started like a few years ago when some of the spring trees started blooming early, when the bluebonnets started coming up early. Well, if the spring trees were blooming early, then chances are the fall plants would do so, too. And so the ragweed did get an early start. It's been miserable for the past couple of days, as it's ping-pong between medium and high. It's supposed to go away with the first frost. Now, that has me greatly concerned because I don't know if we're going to have a first frost this year, given the fact that above normal temperatures are being forecast for the late fall and early winter season. The normal first frost that this area would get would be in mid to late November, and in the Austin area specifically, late November, excuse me, late November into early December. So that's when it's supposed to end. The first frost will trigger the end of the ragweed season, and it cannot get here soon enough for many of us.
Yes, and knowing that we're going to have a dry, warm winter, this does not give us good news for that ragweed plant.
Not at all.
And I don't know about you, but I started feeling the effects from this right when you guys announced that it was already fall.
Yes.
That's when I started feeling allergies season coming out.
Well, good luck. And then the fourth question was actually not a viewer email. It was a friend that asked me this question. Would you ever want to do what Kristen did and cover a hurricane? As many of you know, there she is. Kristen left Austin for Tallahassee late Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, and arrived in time to experience Category 1 winds. When she arrived at the hotel in Tallahassee, the winds for Hurricane Helene were already up to 85 miles an hour. And the storm just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And in less than 24 hours, it went from a Category 1 hurricane to the Category 4 hurricane at landfall with winds at 140. I would love to do what she did. So yes, I think it's every meteorologist's dream to go out and cover a live weather event. And now Kristen can put on her resume that she has covered a hurricane. This is her first hurricane. And she also has covered winter weather here. She's covered the drought. She's covered the heat. So this is something new for her profile. So yes, I would like to do it. Maybe we'll look forward to the next opportunity that would happen. But she did a really nice job in Florida.
And luckily, we do not get this type of weather here in Central Texas. But if there's an opportunity to go out and find that hurricane, I'm sure you would jump on it.
Absolutely. But I'd also give the others an opportunity if they wanted to go too. I'm at the what I would like to call the seventh or eighth inning of my career. We have several though who are in the beginning, and I wouldn't have any trouble passing it off to them.
That's nice.
I have a graphic up now called the recent major hurricanes in the Gulf. I thought about this because of what Helene did. And so I created a graphic and wrote a blog about this, which you can find at kxan.com. Click on weather blogs and you'll find this. It was interesting to see that over the past 7 years, 9 major hurricanes, we're talking hurricanes that reach Category 3, 4, or 5. We've had 2 at 3. We've had 1 at 5, and the rest are 4. And most of them are on the Florida coast. I thought, well, this is very interesting. These storms keep getting more intense as years go by because of climate change causing rapid warming of the Gulf waters, and especially over the middle of the Gulf where Helene was able to prosper once she left the Caribbean. So I wrote a blog about this. You're more than welcome to read it, but it just shows that they have a tendency to stay away from Texas. As you can see, the only one that we have over the past 7 years is Harvey, and then you have to go all the way to Cameron, Louisiana for Laura. And the one thing about this graph that I am just so in love with, so to speak, is the Hurricane Zeta. That was the year we had to go to the Greek alphabet. I believe we used 9 Greek letters. That hurricane hit on October 28th. October 28th.
Wow.
Very late in the year as the hurricane season started to wind down. But it was interesting that we had that hurricane because of its Greek name. But everybody, and here's something else too. Notice we have an Ida, an Idalia, an Ian, and an Irma. I-named storms. 14 I-named storms have been retired. We talked about this a few weeks ago. So 14 I-named storms have been I-names have been retired. On this particular chart, Ida, Ian, and I believe Irma have all been retired. Idalia was not. Idalia will continue, and that name will come up in about, I think, about 23. So in 2028 or 2029, Idalia will be on the list again.
She will return.
She will return. Hopefully not as bad as she did when she hit Florida in 23.
And for anyone who wants to find out more about that particular graphic and the blog post that Rich was talking about, we have a blog post here on kxen.com. It's called Warmer Gulf Waters Lead to Major Hurricanes.
Yes, and by the way, the Atlantic is a little busy right now. We're looking at a decaying hurricane, now tropical storm Ian, not Ian. See, it's got me, all these I letters. Isaac, and then we have a tropical storm Joyce, and then about a half an hour ago, the National Hurricane Center upgraded a system in the Atlantic to tropical storm Kirk. So we have 3 tropical weather systems in the open Atlantic, none of which is any major threat to land. And as Kristen and I talked about on our shows this morning, KXAN News Today and the CW Austin Morning Show, we're looking at a weather system in the Caribbean as a potential weather maker, possibly for us, but it's still too early to tell. It's really just a disorganized area of showers and storms in the Western Caribbean that is forecast to move into the Gulf and could become our next tropical depression.
Maybe soon on the horizon.
Yes.
Well, is there anything else you would like to share with us before we go on this segment?
I think I've got everything covered for today. Freddie Vela will be updating all of the weather, and I'll tag team with him at 11 o'clock.
So we can catch you at 11 o'clock on air at KXN.
Correct.
Thanks so much for joining us, Rich.
Thank you.
And that's all we have today for First Warning Weather Q&A with Rich Segal. Remember, we will be back later today with more live streams and into the rest of the week. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Esmeralda Zamora.